this is Christian from wingsurfer.nl. Today's review is about the KT foiling Nomad range, which I used while wingfoiling in Tarifa and the Netherlands. In my previous review I talked about the KT foils system. I have had a chance to test the Nomad range now in different conditions, both the Nomad 830 and 700. I like to share my experiences so you can choose what suits your needs. The sizing of the foil is done in square centimeter. So a 700 front wing is 700 square centimeter and this 830 is 830 square centimeter. This one is also 86 centimeters wide and it has an aspect ratio of 8.9. The main thing that really looks different on these foils compared to other brands is the high chamber design and the extreme hollow section going back onto the rear section. So a high chamber design is often used in actually beginner foils. It provides more lift and slower riding speeds. Usually these foils are thicker because of that. For the Nomad range they also apply this technique, but trying to make the foil still very efficient and easy to turn. My first experiences with this one, the Nomad 830 and the 700. As an 85 kilo person, I started with the Nomad 830 on an 80 liter mid-length board in cross-on conditions with a 5.0 wing having normal power. From the moment I got on foil, which was almost instant, I felt this foil was very natural for me to foil on. It felt easy going upwind in a straight line without having to make too much adjustments. On the wave I could throw it around really well without any sudden drops or having too much noticeable front or rear foot pressure. It provided enough glide to come along with the waves, though I still had to fine-tune the mast position a little bit. 830 isn't a very large surface area, but I could really notice how fast this foil went on foil and how slow I could actually go with it before it would just stall. The downside of this is that the foil also felt a little bit slow to me. From KT they did tell me you can't go smaller than you might think on these foils. So that's what I did on the next session and tried the Nomad 700. As it was smaller, it did need a pump extra with the wing to get on foil, or 2 pumps, or just a bit more power on the wing. But once on foil, this foil also felt really easy to just cruise around with. I tried different combinations, the 63 and the 56 fuselage, but I've only paired both with the 105 Nomad rearing. Smaller on the fuselage of course means more maneuverability. The downside is that a foil becomes more difficult to handle going in a straight line. On the 56 centimeter fuselage I've actually not really experienced this, also not in very choppy conditions with opposite currents in the North Sea making a mess of things. I have tried the 700 on both the new Super K version 2 60 liter and the KT Drifter 4 56 liter. It worked well on both boards. Although only being a 700, the low stall speed is pretty incredible. I did sometimes felt this was really needed because on slow, unpredictable waves, I sometimes end up in sections with not too much power of the swell. Normally I'd use larger foils that provide a bit more glide to move away from such a section. Now I had to pump more to get away with the smaller size. The speed of the 700 is good for me. It's not a race monster, but I think for most wave conditions this foil would be fast enough, also to do some jumps with it. The 700 is really a nice foil to throw around from chop to chop, but also much more in the braking part of the wave, without feeling like it overwhelms you and wants to spit you out sometimes. What I did have to get used to was having more back foot pressure. I moved the mast forward to have less, but that didn't do as much, besides making things a little bit more difficult. When I moved too far forward, I sometimes did stall a bit more easy. As I'm used to front foot riding, this was something I had to adjust to. Conclusion: I had sessions in both Tarifa and the Netherlands that I enjoyed a lot on the Nomad foils. This range really suits my style and it's an easy foil to progress to. I can really throw this foil around without having too much to worry about. To go faster, I did have to size down. Doing so, these foils will appeal to the more advanced rider. This seems needed if you want to keep up the pace. If you want more glide and have a long, easy runs in the back, the Atlas range probably suits your needs better. I'll have a look at this series in a different review. If you're a more active rider, I'm sure the Nomad will be the better choice. Also, I think the Nomad will work better in challenging conditions where there's a lot of water moving around. Most important thing to keep in mind is that you have to take a foil smaller than you're used to, about 25% smaller. So if you're used to an 1100 square centimeter foil, take an 830 square centimeter foil. Hopefully this video helps you decide on whether the Nomad is a good foil from KT to start with and help you get the correct size. Next range will most likely be the Atlas. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below.